It is the 22nd day of court. Father Arun takes the bench at 8:50 in the morning. On a normal day, there's going to be initial conversations, but within the hour, the witness is going to be brought back onto the stand. The jurors are going to file in, take their seats. This day, this Thursday, is very different. After taking the bench, there's a few back and forths between the parties, the prosecutors and the defense team. And then suddenly Judge Arun, aka Father Arun, that's what we like to call him, he calls for a sidebar in the robing room. This is a little weird. So the robing room is like a little side office. The door is right by the judge's bench in the left far side corner of the courtroom. It's like right at the very front next to his bench. Normally, he'll call for a sidebar, and that's when the jurors are in the room. So the jurors are sitting, they call for a sidebar, they turn on the white noise, the lead attorneys will go to the corner of the room and they'll do like a little football huddle and they'll talk, and they don't want the jurors to hear this. Usually when you get the transcript at the end of the day, however, it will have the sidebar unless it's sealed. Now, the jurors are not in the room. The witness is not in the room, and he's saying, I don't want the press and the public. Nobody can hear this. We need to go into the robing room.
Does that mean that there's no transcript of it either?
It's going to be sealed.
Oh.
There's about I think 35 pages that are sealed, and this all takes place in the robing room. They're in the robing room for a very long time. So Father Arun, the stenographer, the court reporter, they disappear because even if it's sealed, it still has to be on the record. Now the court reporter and the lead counsel from both sides, they disappear into the robing room. One discussion turns into two. I mean, people will come in and out. So Maureen Comey will come in, Mark Agnifilo will go out, they'll disappear for 20 minutes and then they'll come back in, and it's just like a lot of back and forth. And the whole time, the public, the press, everybody's getting a little bit angsty because we've never seen this happen before. In fact, usually when they go meet in the robing room, this happens before we even get called up into the courtroom.
What does that mean? They talk inside of that room?
Yeah, and then it'll just be on the transcript. It won't be sealed. And then you're like, oh, it says in the robing room.
I see.
You never really see them say, hey, let's go to the robing room right now.
So this is the first time?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're gone for a long time, just back and forth, back and forth.
How long?
And I mean, it was over an hour.
Wow.
And everybody's just sitting there this has never happened before, and everybody seems stressed. Everybody is trying to read people's facial expressions, trying to read the body language of the prosecutors, trying to read the body language of the defense team. And it's just so confusing because we have no idea what's happening. And you also want to know who's in trouble. That's usually the first thing in the press pew's mind. One side has got to be in trouble, or one side is losing an argument, or it's a very contentious fight. Now, at one point, however, Maureen Comey, the lead prosecutor, she exits the robing room, and she's got a small smile on her face, and she looks at her team of prosecutors, and she just shrugs her shoulders. I don't know what they're fighting about in there. I don't know what's going
crazy.
on.
Is that her usual attitude all the time?
Yeah, I mean, she's getting progressively a little more stern. I mean, she's always been very stern with how she feels, but she seems to be maybe one of the very few people where it seems like the house is on fire and she'll just walk out of there shrugging. She seems like the most chill out of all of them.
Wow.
So, okay, maybe it seems like there's nothing to worry about. The same cannot be said for the defense. When Mark Agnifilo comes out at around 10 in the morning, so we're about an hour into the robing room meeting. Again, the jury nor the witness are there, so the actual testimony, the actual court day has yet to start. And Mark Agnifilo, here's the thing about the defense team men. Mark Agnifilo, Brian Steele, the minute that they are stressed, their faces are red. I mean, I guess there's no makeup to hide it either. So you just see it on their face, and sometimes the redness will come down to their neck.
Wow.
So they can try to poker face it, but their face gives it away. His face is red, and you can just read him like a book. His brows are knitted together, and he stands now facing towards us, right in front of Sean Combs, who's still sitting at the defense table. So he's been sitting there with us for an hour. Mark is on the other side facing, he's standing, Sean Combs is sitting, and it feels like the entire defense team, they fall into formation like soldiers at attention. They make a human force field huddle around Sean Combs. Every single other defense attorney is standing behind Sean Combs in a curve so that none of the press pews, none of the public can really see what's going on. And Mark is standing facing us so we can see Mark, and he is explaining to Sean Combs probably what they're talking about in there. And it seems, okay, at first we didn't really know why this huddle is happening. It just felt like, is this like a pep talk? Are they gonna do like one of those like football sports team pep talks? What's happening? But then we see a little bit of Mark Agnifalo's face, and he seems stressed, and he's like kind of waving his hands. And at one point we're trying to lip read, and all we can read, we think, we don't know, is he saying, I don't know. That's what it looks like. I don't know. And then from the crack and like the little angle of our seat, because all the press pews were like doing this, okay? And we're all like, did you see that? Because you can see Sean Combs beyond livid. He has never dropped any sort of, like, he'll be nodding at jurors. Like, we've talked about everything that he's been doing. He'll be talking to sketch artists. He'll be mouthing stuff to the public and the press pews. But we have never seen him this pissed off before.
Well, what's his like body language?
He's looking at the attorneys, and all we see is his right hand in the air going like he's like
waving it,
saying something with a lot of passion. Like, what is happening? Like that kind of vibe. And then it seems like Mark Agnifalo is like, I don't know. And it just felt like we were seeing something that we weren't supposed to be seeing, because what's happening inside of this huddle? And Sean Combs seems like he's just progressively getting angrier all Thursday morning. Like, we've never seen him move that quickly. It's fast. It's like he's swatting the air. I mean, he's rapidly talking. His lips are like shooting off whatever he's saying. He just seems so pissed off. And Mark Agnifalo's face is just getting redder and redder. And so they huddle for a really long time. And the press pews, we start getting word of things. Okay, there's like waves of rumors. Usually like the rumors will come and go on the press pews. There's not that many rumors to go around. But this Thursday morning, I don't even know how it's like telephone. Literally, we're just all like, wait, what's going on? You ask the person next to you and they're like, okay, so we heard, and I don't know if this is true, but somebody on Sean Combs's like family or friend side potentially reached out to a witness, which would be really bad.
And this is a rumor.
This is completely a rumor. I mean, I would imagine if this were true, we would have heard about it by now.
Okay.
But they're just saying, I don't know. That's what that person said.
This is like while this is happening. Like,
yeah.
They're huddling. Okay.
And the press pews are just trying to figure out. And I don't even know how this rumor started. I don't know who started it. I don't know if it was valid, if it's not valid. I imagine, again, if this were true, we would have heard about it by now, because that would be a very big deal. But it's just like, we don't know. That's what they said. And then they're like, I don't know. That's what she said. That's what he said. And then it's like, okay, the rumor kind of dies down, because we're like, what are the odds of that? And then another rumor comes through. Okay, so we heard that Kanye West is trying to get in. And we're like, wait, what? What do you mean he's trying to get in? But that doesn't make sense, because if he's trying to get in, why would Diddy be so upset about it? Like, why would it cause an hour in the roping room? And then why would it cause him to be so passionately angry? And then also, there's so many other questions, like, why the hell is Kanye here? Because sure, we can simply say that Kanye is trying to get into the courthouse to support Diddy, a friend, but it seems a lot deeper, perhaps even a lot darker than that, with a lot of people starting to speculate, well, it's because he's next, that he's going to be the next one that the feds take down after Diddy. I would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the New York Immigration Coalition. They're an umbrella policy and advocacy organization that represents over 200 immigrant and refugee rights groups throughout New York. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team, and we'd also like to thank you guys for your continued support. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. Now, some of the quotes and statements have been shortened, combined, and condensed for brevity. Any and all observations in the courtroom were made by either my researchers or myself in real time. However, please understand that these are just our own personal experiences. There are many people in the courtroom that might have had different experiences, different thoughts, different opinions. A few content disclaimers before we get started. Today's episode includes brief mentions of DV, physical and essay, childhood essay, trafficking, and additionally, there are discussions surrounding topics like racism, anti-Semitism, and hate speech. So please watch with caution, take breaks if you need to, and a few disclaimers about Diddy and Kanye. The people involved in today's episode, I mean, as we both know, Kanye has not been indicted for any crimes. He has not been arrested. He has not been charged with any crimes. There are a few active civil lawsuits against him, but as of right now, those are just allegations at this point. Sean Combs as well, he has been charged. This is a trafficking trial, racketeering RICO trial. However, he has not been convicted yet. So everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And in the most recent years, as some of you may know, Kanye has become incredibly anti-Semitic, which is never okay. He has made so many public tirades involving anti-Semitism and hate speech. He genuinely has said things that are unfathomable to like come out of somebody's mind, let alone someone with that massive of a platform. I mean, Kanye's lore is almost as deep as Sean Combs's lore, and we would need 10 hours, a 4-part series to even truly cover and report on it all. So for the purpose of this episode, we are specifically focusing on Kanye's actions, a few good, mostly bad, that relate to Kanye's involvement in Diddy's trial. So I want to be super clear that we are not intentionally ignoring these moments, nor are we trying to somehow minimize them by not including them. It's just, it would take so long to go through every hateful thing that he's ever said about any group of people. So with that being said, let's get started. 2024 is a very, very bad year with Sean Combs. I mean, that much is clear. He's not having a good time last year, but it's also a very, very bad year for somebody else in the music industry. Kanye West. And interestingly enough, a lot of people think it's not a coincidence that Sean Combs is having a bad 2024 and Kanye West is having a bad 2024. It's all connected. And maybe Sean Combs is living on a faster timeline. That's what people are speculating. That maybe Kanye West, his trajectory is going to look oddly similar. So we're gonna skip January of 2024, but keep this in mind because something big happens in January of 2024 that involves both of the rappers, but skipping January for right now and going straight into February of 2024. Kanye drops a new song. So at this point, February, Cassie has dropped her lawsuit 4 months ago, November of 2023. There has been no raids on Diddy's house. He hasn't been arrested. He's a free man. There's just been a lot of media controversy over Cassie's lawsuit. All we know is that she's settled, and that's about it. Everyone's wondering what's going to happen next. Is he just going to like wait for a comeback? We don't know. February of 2024, Kanye drops a new song called Carnival, which did end up peaking on the Billboard Hot 100 at the #1 spot, which is kind of insane considering nobody thought Kanye could ever make a musical comeback after all the insane stuff that he's been saying online for like the past 2 years. A lot of people argue online that the song itself sounds good, but when you sit there and you listen to the lyrics, they're like, suddenly it's not so good. Okay, so first off, the first few lines on the song, there's one part that reads, "Pull up in the trenches like Columbine," a reference to the school. However, that lyric is not rapped by Kanye, but nevertheless, in another verse, Kanye does indeed rap. "Anybody pissed off, gotta make him drink the urine. Now I'm Ye Kelly," in reference to R. Kelly. "Now I'm Bill Cosby. Now I'm Puff Daddy rich. That's me too rich." Side note, yeah, by this point, like I said, all we know is that Cassie sued Combs and settled a day later. We have not seen the CNN video. Combs' homes have yet to be raided. He is yet to be arrested. So it's an interesting mix to put those three people together in a song, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, and Puff Daddy. Now, all three men have been accused of crimes. He also raps, "This is for what they did to Chris. They can't do shit with this." It is believed that he's referring to Chris Brown for getting blackballed in the music industry after he physically assaulted Rihanna.
Wow.
So another reference that is not necessarily the most, I mean, like, I don't even know what these lyrics mean, but it doesn't appear to be great connections that he's drawing here. Like, those are not people that you want to be connected to.
Yeah.
He also names dropped Taylor Swift, which this Carnival song, it has everybody mad for different reasons. So some people are pissed off because they're like, why are you bringing up Chris Brown and Rihanna? Some people are like, leave Rihanna alone. Other people are mad because they're like, why are you name dropping Taylor Swift? Like, her fans are like, leave her alone, please. Like,
maybe
why?
Diddy's name wasn't even like a main talking point for
Yeah,
people?
I mean, it was a little bit, but it seemed like more more so Taylor Swift and
Yeah.
even like the Chris Brown lyric got a little bit more heat.
Yes.
Now the song performed well, like really well, and a lot of people were upset. They're commenting online, so is he trying to say he's a pedo? I mean, he definitely has a creepy obsession with Taylor, that's for sure. Like, why does he keep mentioning her endlessly? Another netizen says, so Kanye is snitching about being a predator because everyone he's listing is a predator. To which someone responds, I seriously doubt it. I think he didn't think it through. I think he's talking about all these men's influence and fame. I mean, I understand Cosby because everybody loved him once upon a time, but Diddy? I mean, everybody knew Diddy had dirt. With another one commenting intensely, he already said he knows that his Me Too is on the way. He said, Me Too rich. So when he and his slave are done, and they're referring to Bianca Censori, his wife, she will do exactly what Cassie did. That's what the comment is saying. That Bianca Censori is going to leave Kanye and sue Kanye just like Cassie sued Diddy. That's a comment. That's February of 2024. Now, March 25th, 2024, both of Diddy's LA and Miami mansions are raided by the feds, where they find a lifetime supply of baby oil, Astroglide, and guns with their serial numbers scratched off. 1 month later, April 21st, 2024, Kanye drops another song. It's titled Like That Remix. Now, to give you some context, Like That, the original song, not the remix, is a song by Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar. Basically, this is the first diss track against Drake. This is like what allegedly start off the whole feud that ended up with Not Like Us. This dropped in March, so like a month prior, but now in April, Kanye drops Like That Remix. Now, the notable lyric as it pertains to Diddy is, quote, can't stop, won't stop, I just f***ed your b**** Sean John tank top, which is Combs's clothing brand, Sean John. That's actually his first and middle name.
Wasn't Can't Stop, Won't Stop like a slogan for the employees or something like that?
Okay, so a few things. Can't Stop, Won't Stop. There is a song that Kid Cudi has where he says Can't Stop, Won't Stop 20 times in the song. So I don't know if that's like a slogan that he really liked. And then later, one of Diddy's personal assistants testified and he said, during his interview with Diddy, he said, why should you hire me? Because I can't stop, won't stop. And Diddy was like, I like that. And then he got hired. So this is a very interesting reference. I mean, I guess it's a kind of commonly used phrase.
Yeah.
But it's still, everything's connected, it appears.
Yeah.
And he says, I just fucked your bitch in a Sean John tank top, which is his clothing brand. So there's that. This releases a month after Sean Combs' homes are raided. I mean, I feel like you could have easily taken that out, replaced it, or at least did what Kesha did. Kesha had a song that said, wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy, which she now changed it to wake up in the morning feeling like fuck P. Diddy. But no, he just like keeps it in, which appears intentional. Now, Kanye doesn't really talk too much about it. He just says about the song that he was really excited about it because, quote, everybody was very, very energized about the elimination of Drake.
You know, everybody was very, very excited about the elimination of Drake.
Yeah, people thought it was weird because he really wanted to get in on this like diss feud. And then everyone's like, remember how Kanye tried to be a part of the fight and everybody just ignored him? Now, the next month, May 2024, CNN releases the Intercontinental Hotel video of Diddy physically assaulting Cassie. 1 month later, June of 2024, now by this point, there are around 70 civil lawsuits filed against Sean Combs.
Whoa.
Prior to his arrest.
Right, okay, so that was the time that's...
Like boom, 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 everything's dropping at once. Now, there is now one high-profile lawsuit filed against Kanye West, June of 2024. A woman named Lauren Pisciada files a lawsuit against Kanye West, and this lawsuit will later be amended to involve Sean Combs. So at first, she's just going over the lawsuit. Lauren alleges that she's been in the entertainment industry for the past 15 years. So she's run into Kanye before. Now, one day, Kanye approaches her and asks her, do you want to work as my personal assistant? Which is like, I guess, a cool job offer, but he also agrees to pay her $1 million a year. Kanye is like, but the thing is, Lauren, you gotta be, I mean, Lauren alleges, right? But the thing is, you gotta be available, quote, 24/7. like a super personal assistant. Lauren states by this point in her career, she had her own social media following. She even had an OF page, which she states Kanye knew about and was completely okay with it. Actually, on the contrary, she alleges that sometimes at work, Kanye would brag to his friends that my personal assistant is, quote, an OnlyFans superstar. But in 2022, that all changes. According to the lawsuit, Kanye tells Lauren to delete her OnlyFans because he wants her to be, quote, godlike. He even offers to pay her $1 million to delete it.
How long has she been with him since then?
A few years,
Okay.
I believe. When she deletes her OnlyFans, which she's making like $1 million a year from it, Kanye never pays her. And that's when Kanye starts sending her these allegedly unwanted, unprompted, non-consensual, offensive text messages and videos. So one example listed in the lawsuit, the text from Kanye to Lauren. Again, this is his personal assistant. This is his employee. He's also married to Bianca Censori. I don't think at this point he was, but he will eventually be married to her as this progresses. Now, he would text her, sex workers always got the best P. It's their business.
Best?
I don't know if he's trying to say that she
Best
has
P?
like the best private part.
Oh.
Another text message reads, one time I took a Viagra and f***ed an A-list celebrity for 3 hours. Not sure why that thought came to me. He's just like texting her this. And she's like, why do I need to know this? I don't want to know this. Another text says, I'm going to f*** the living dog shit out of this off the honey. All her friends gonna need to find out where every that f- with me in love. Well, first of all, like it doesn't really make the most sense. And second of all, he is sending this to his personal assistant. Then another text message Lauren alleges in her lawsuit that was sent her reads, I have a serious question. Be honest with me. Is my dick racist? Is it this fucking racist dick of mine? I'm going to beat this fucking racist dick for being fucking racist. I'm going to stare at pictures of white women with black asses and beat the shit out of my racist dick. This racist dick needs to be beaten till it can't be racist no more. Also, disturbingly, he texts her, hug, please. And she says that he was absolutely, she alleges, he was absolutely one of those people that would ask for creepy hugs unprompted by all people. It exponentially gets worse. If all of Lauren's allegations are true, because he proceeds to allegedly send her a video of him having intimate relations with a model, and then sends this meme to clarify what he means by a hug. It's not a regular hug. It's a meme of a black man and a naked white woman hugging.
Wait,
naked.
he sends a video?
He sends a video of him having intimate relations with a model, and then he's like, oh yeah, by the way, this is what I mean by wanting a hug. And it's like a naked black man, a naked white woman, and they're hugging, and it's very clear that they're having intimate relations.
Okay.
And he's like, I need a hug.
What?
Yeah. And so he's saying that's what he wants when he says he needs a hug. He also proceeds to send another video of himself receiving oral activities from a model, and then he proceeds to ask Lauren if he should edit the video because he wants to make sure that his private parts look large enough. In another alleged text message, he sends her a video of himself having intimate relations with a Yeezy employee, and then he asks her, what you think of this vid? Then he sends a cropped version of that video. So it's the same video, but he's just cropped it. And then he texts her, I edited LOL. He later allegedly explains to Lauren that his private parts did not appear big enough for him to send this video to his friends. Which also makes you question, if this is true, who is he sending these videos to? Like, what friends are receiving these videos?
Yeah.
And do these women know that these videos are being sent? Now, allegedly, he also sends her another text message, and it's actually a screenshot of a text message. So imagine A and B are texting, screenshot, and then A sends it to C. Lauren is C, A is Kanye. Now, allegedly, Kanye had texted Bianca Censori, his now wife, I came so hard. I love seeing your reaction while we fuck. I want to fuck your mom before she leaves. Then another message from Kanye to allegedly Bianca, I want you to watch me f*** your mom. Anyway, he screenshots all of this and allegedly sends it to Lauren. Now, Lauren alleges a lot more detailed incidents in her lawsuit that Kanye was asking her to participate in 3 people activities. Another moment, Lauren alleges Kanye and Bianca Censori called her because they wanted to talk to her in great detail, allegedly, about the 5-person activity that they just participated in the day prior. Sometimes Kanye would call her and she claims that he would be self-pleasuring while talking to her, and he would constantly ask her over the phone, "Can you hear what I'm doing? Can you guess what I'm doing? What do you think I'm doing right now?"
Wow.
Now, in relation to the Sean Combs case, there's a few points in Lauren's lawsuit a lot of people are taking a closer look at now. One part of the lawsuit, Lauren alleges Kanye would send her text messages about his intimate life that, first of all, she didn't really want to know anything about at all. But he would also write things like, quote, "See, my problem is I be wanting to fuck, but then after I fuck, I want a girl to tell me how hard they've been fucked while I'm fucking them. Then I want her to cheat on me and go get fucked with a bigger dick than mine and come back and tell me the story. Then I want her to suck my dick with her best friend, or option B, suck my dick with a bad bitch I'm f***ing already. I f***ed, then made her tell me how hard she'd been f***ed while I was f***ing her, then went and f***ed somebody else with a bigger dick behind my back and told me while I was f***ing her. Now ain't that f***ed?" In another message, he gets to the point a lot quicker and he texts her, again, without her consent. She's his employee and it's alleged, but still, he texts, allegedly, "I love when bitches get the shit out of them and tell me about it while I f them." A lot of people have pointed out that it sounds like a similar cucky kink that Sean Combs has. So, further alleged in the lawsuit, Lauren states that Kanye sent her a 33-second video of a model that he was just having intimate relations with, and now this model is having intimate relations with an unidentified man that is not Kanye. Lauren further alleges in her lawsuit that she never wanted to see any of this. She wanted to just be professional. However, Kanye would have her do all sorts of weird things. Like, he would want her to go get this very specific honey that's used to enhance his male performance during intimate relations. She states that Kanye would make sure that she always had the honey on her person, and whenever he needed it, she would have to deliver it to him. This honey connection is intriguing because the same honey has been mentioned a few times throughout Sean Combs' trial. An assistant testified that he really liked having his vital honey around to help him keep up his intimate performance.
Really? It's the same product?
Yes. Now, I will say it does seem to be like a thing that people think it's like a home remedy to help with performance, like an aphrodisiac, I guess. So it's not just unique to them, but with all the other overlapping coincidences and connections between Kanye and Sean Combs' intimate life, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, this is in June of 2024. A few months later, she will amend this lawsuit, and interestingly enough, Lauren will actually name Sean Combs in the new amended lawsuit. Taking your business to the next level is a dream lots of us share, but too often kind of just hold ourselves back thinking like, what if I don't have the skills? What if I don't know how to do this? What if I can't do it alone? And that's exactly where we were when I decided to turn those what ifs into, you know what, why not? Let's try it and let's give Shopify a try. My family and I were able to launch our own small business selling limited edition artwork at Grandpa Mango's art studio because honestly, we had Shopify. There would have been no other way. They are an all-in-one commerce platform to start and run and grow a business. Shopify has your back with gorgeous, ready-to-go templates, AI tools built specifically for commerce, and the world's highest converting customizable one-click checkout that also powers 10% of US e-commerce. If you've been sitting on a business idea or wanting to take your side hustle to the next step, stop overthinking it. Shopify makes it so much easier than you think. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/rotten. Go to shopify.com/rotten. Shopify.com/rotten. Here is a dirty little secret that the insurance industry may want to keep under wraps. Insurance companies profit by holding onto your money for as long as possible. Morgan & Morgan fights hard against these corporations to fight to make sure you get every dollar that you deserve. When in court, the insurance companies, they want jurors to think the at-fault driver is the one paying the verdict amount. Meanwhile, it's usually the insurance companies who are covering the cost. When Morgan & Morgan takes on a case, they are almost always going after the big insurance companies, and not not the individuals at fault. A recent client in Pennsylvania just received $29 million. The insurer's best offer was $500,000. I mean, there's a reason why Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury firm. Hiring the wrong firm can be disastrous. I mean, hiring the right firm could substantially increase your settlement. With Morgan & Morgan, it's easy to get started, and their fee is free unless they win. Just click the link in the description below or visit forthepeople.com/rotten. That's forthepeople.com/rotten, or click the link in the description below. This is a paid advertisement. A new amended part of the lawsuit reads that Lauren alleges that she was in the studio with Kanye and Sean Combs, where drinks were served. Lauren drinks it, and the lawsuit alleges that unbeknownst to the plaintiff, the drink she was served was laced with an unidentified drug. After a few small sips of the beverage, she suddenly started to feel disoriented. She alleges that she starts losing control over her body, her speech. She does not remember anything else from that night, which there were a lot of people that felt initially a little suspicious about it. They said, oh, it's intriguing that she would amend the lawsuit a month after Sean Combs' arrest. It just feels convenient. It feels like, oh, you know what? 2 birds, 1 stone. That's what some people on the internet were alleging. However, if you really dive deep into it, that doesn't seem to be the case at all, because after Lauren's initial lawsuit in June, way before Sean Combs gets arrested, a woman by the name of Nikki Heaton takes to Instagram Live. Now, Nikki Heaton was like a huge musician back then. Like, she blew up, she had a crazy viral song, and then she just disappeared. She like disappeared from the music industry. She goes on Instagram Live and she says, I was actually there that day.
At this party?
Yeah, so she's talking about this before Lauren like details it in the amended lawsuit, but she says that she was actually Lauren's client. Lauren was a manager for Nicki's music career when this is before Nicki fell out of music, and this is before Lauren was hired as Kanye's personal assistant, like long before. Now, she says, I was never actually going to tell this story ever. I was going to go to my grave with this because in my perspective, it's like, what's the point? Who would believe me? What good would it do? I don't have proof. I'm not going to file anything. But because of recent events and things that have come out quite recently, I felt the need to come on here. And, you know, my old manager, Lauren, has kind of been the whistleblower on the shit that he's done. I'm very proud of her. Like, I'm very, very proud of her. Nikki says initially she wasn't going to say anything until she went to all the comments of people talking about Lauren's lawsuit against Kanye West, and people were calling Lauren a liar and saying that none of this is true. Lauren is trying to get money from Kanye. She's trying to get clout from Kanye. And Nikki says it just made her so mad. She says, quote, so basically, I'm telling this story now because you guys know me. I don't give a f. I'm out of the industry. I left LA. I'm in the middle of nowhere on a farm. I'm not filing any sort of suit, so I'm not getting any money from this. And she explains that when she started blowing up in the music industry, Kanye invites her to the studio. So she goes with her manager, Lauren, at the time. And it's like a bunch of people there. There's like 9 women there. And she says, don't shoot the messenger. But back then, they were called studio hosts. So these are women who come to the studio dressed in club wear. And a lot of times they will leave with musicians that are in the studio. And she says, again, that's just the terminology that was already in place. It's not something that she's using. Now, she says, immediately we walk in and there's something not right. So she says, I was invited as a manager, or as an artist. My manager shows up. She thinks they're making music. So she's wearing double XL sweatpants and a giant hoodie. She says, I look like a slob. Kanye and Sean Combs are there, already out of their mind, just drunk, just completely drunk. She gets handed a drink. She doesn't feel good about it. So she takes like the tiniest sip and she doesn't really drink the rest.
Wait, so it was a music studio?
Yes.
And Sean Combs, Diddy were there, and 9 girls, 9 other girls.
Diddy and Kanye were there. Maybe that's easier. Yes.
Diddy, Kanye, and 9 other girls are there. Okay.
As well as like a few different male executives.
Okay.
So there's like a lot of people there. And she doesn't really drink it because she doesn't feel good about it. And she starts panicking because she looks over and Lauren, her manager, is drinking the drink. So Nikki starts freaking out because she's like, okay, I just don't feel right about this situation. Like, what do I do? And she sees Lauren's face get really flushed and she starts speaking really loudly, which Nikki is like, that's not Lauren. Like, Lauren is very shy. She's very socially awkward. And Nikki is like, something weird is happening. So whatever it's laced with is hitting her. And then Lauren is like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and just like leaves, leaving Nikki to freak out. So now she's in this room. The other girls are quote dismissed, and it's just Kanye and Diddy and 3 other guys that work with them.
The girls file out. They go to like a different studio, or they go somewhere. And I'm like, I have to do something. I have to do something. What do I do? And I go to get my phone where Kanye put it on one of the speakers. And as I'm going to get it, I turn and my manager's walking out. And I'm like, no. Like, where are you going? I'm already seeing people being like, this is cap. What do I have to gain? Let me just ask you, what do I have to gain? I'm in a fucking farm in the middle of nowhere. I'm not in the industry anymore. I'm not filing a lawsuit, so I'm not getting paid. I'm not looking for clout, because who gives a fuck about me? So why would I lie about this? Yeah, so I see her start to leave. And I'm like, where are you going? And she's like, it's fine, I'm just going to the bathroom. And I was like, no, stay. And she's like, it's right there, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay. And she walks out. And all of a sudden, I realize that I'm in this studio. The music's low, the lights are dim, but you can still like see everything. And I realize that I'm in the studio with Diddy and Kanye, and they're both off their shit. And there's 3 other men, an executive that works with Kanye, his engineer, and his cousin, and me, alone. Kanye and Diddy have realized that I'm the only girl in the room. And they're like fucked out of their minds. And they start coming towards me, and they're like, don't you want to take your clothes off? Like, it's so hot in here. And I'm like, no, fine. I'm fine like this. And they're like, come on, like, it's just us, like, we're all just friends, like, let us just like see like how you look. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And like, I still haven't gotten scared yet, you know, like, I'm still like, this is a bad situation, I'm creeped out, but like, there's no reason to panic. There's other men here, and they're coming towards me more, and they're trying to like take my clothes off. And I'm like at that point where I'm like, this is not good, but I'm like still trying to like play it off, just like, stop, you guys are stupid, like, get out of here, like, don't touch me. And I start to get a little bit apprehensive, because I'm pretty much like backed up against the wall. Like, there's only one exit, and I'm pressed up against this door. And I'm still not completely terrified yet, but I'm like, you guys stop, like, stop. And they're getting to the point where they have like ripped my shirt off, and like, I'm like almost fully exposed at this point, and they're both coming at me, and I'm like, you guys, like, seriously, this isn't funny anymore. And I look to my left where his executive is. Like, we know him pretty well. Like, we've been around him a lot. He's literally 3 feet away from me. Like, if I reached and he reached too, like, we could touch. Like, he's that close. And I look and I'm like, hey, like, I give that look where I'm just like, come on, like, step in, like, this isn't cool, like, you're a grown man, like, you're like 50 years old, I know you have a family, like, you know this isn't right, like, do something. And this is the part that for as long as I live, I will never fucking forget. It isn't actually the aspect of being sexually assaulted. That's not what haunts me. It's this. It's as these 2 grown men were pawing at me, trying to take my clothes off, I look over to this man asking for help, and I literally mouth the word help. And we lock eyes. And he looks away. And I'm like, okay. There's still 2 more men in the room. And I look to his engineer next, who's sitting right next to him. And I know that he's married, and he just had a little baby girl, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna do something. And I look at him next, and I'm like, okay, like, do something, say something, do anything. And he looks down at his phone and starts texting. And then I was like, oh, fuck. I look at Kanye's cousin next, and I'm like, do something, you know, like fucking do something. And he spins his chair around. And that's when that like gut-wrenching fear set in. And I was like, oh shit, no one's fucking saving me tonight. No one's gonna do anything. No one's gonna do fucking anything. And that's when I was truly fucking scared. At this point, they had ripped my shirt off, and they were trying to get my pants off. And I realized that I was completely alone. And I closed my eyes for a second. And I was like, God help me. What do I do? And as my eyes were closed, this is gonna sound weird because I bet a lot of you are wondering, like, how the fuck did you get out of this situation? My eyes were closed, and I prayed, and I said, God help me, what do I do? And it was like clear as day. I heard this in my head, and it didn't make any sense. I heard, go towards them. And I was like, oh, fucking great. The one time I asked God for help, Satan answers, because why the fuck would I go towards these two predators who are sexually assaulting me? Like, why would I do that? And then all of a sudden it clicked. My back was up against the glass wall. I could not go any further back. That was the only exit. He said, go towards them. They were already drunk off their shit. They were fucked up. So I lunged forward. I stepped forward. And it like threw them off balance. Like they were like, oh, you know, and like they stepped back at least 1.5 feet. And the moment that they did, I reached behind my back, I pulled the door, and I slipped out, grabbing my clothes. And I ran across the hall, across this corridor, and I hid inside of an empty studio that was black. And I sat there for like 25 minutes.
She was crying in the dark, trying to get in contact with Lauren, who's not responding. And she later states, Lauren was drugged and I wasn't. She further alleges, the other thing that really me is those 9 other girls who were drinking the drinks before we even got there, I know none of them got out. I know none of them got saved that night. And I'm like, did they even remember? Did they know what happened to them?
That is crazy. So she posts this video on Instagram.
She was on Instagram Live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
A few days after Lauren's initial lawsuit. So if all of this is true, then it's likely that Lauren didn't really recall in vivid detail, because she does state that she doesn't really recall what happened that night after she drank the laced drinks, right? But it seems like Nicki telling her story maybe put 2 and 2 together. July and August of 2024 are relatively quieter months for the two individuals, Diddy and Kanye, until September 16th, 2024. Combs, Diddy, is arrested. It seems like these events in 2024, it brings them together in a way that, I don't know, maybe we weren't expecting, maybe they were expecting it, because now after Diddy's arrest, Kanye goes to war for Diddy, which is strange because yes, in 2024, both of them had bad years. Was it deserved? Probably, perhaps, absolutely. You decide. But still, objectively, they were having very, very bad years. And then all of a sudden, Diddy gets arrested and it brings them together. And it's weird because before 2024, they didn't seem close. In fact, just recently in 2022, Kanye West went on a whole public tirade against Diddy. To give you some context, there's an interview from 2020 where Kanye does an interview with Drink Champs, and in it he basically states, I don't got no celebrity friends because when I was on Instagram saying I don't know where my child is and the Kardashians kidnapped my daughter in public and I don't have the address to my child, none of these wanted to say something. Now, Travis gave me the address. Travis Scott allegedly gave him the address.
What address?
To where his kids were.
Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these, all you fake hard, fuck you. Because you can't shoot nobody anyway, and the reason why you got talks because you did a deal, you fucking fed.
So he's like saying like the deal that they got away with a bunch of stuff legally is because they're a fed now.
The irony is crazy, huh?
Yeah. He also texts Diddy those very choice words. Fuck you, you fed. Kanye.
How do we know this?
We know this because Kanye screenshots this conversation and then posts it immediately on his Instagram. And all of this is because in 2022, Kanye and Diddy have a very public falling out because Kanye starts selling White Lives Matter t-shirts. Diddy allegedly reaches out to Kanye privately. He texts him and asks him, hey, can you stop? Which promptly Kanye texts back, I didn't like our convo. I'm selling these tees. Nobody gets in between me and my money. This is my grandfather texting you now. Never call me with no bullshit like that again unless you're ready to greenlight me. Because anybody who got on that tee is me. Out of respect for everything you've meant to me, I'll be quiet as Virgil. But now I know how I've hurt the people I love with threats.
First of all, what does green light mean?
No, we don't know what any of this means. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to be like we're missing much context. It just seems like...
He said, I'm texting you as my grandpa now? Or this is my grandpa? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, then Kanye sends another one right underneath it that says, come do something illegal to me now, please. Kanye posts this screenshot to Combs, posted on Instagram with the caption, God is love. My brother misspoke to me, but I still love him. To which...
God is love?
Yeah, and like at that time, Diddy was calling himself love.
Oh, and he said God is love.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. We're so confused. And then he posts it, and I'm assuming he posted in real time because Sean Combs immediately Diddy text Kanye, as soon as I land, we'll meet face to face, send me an address. Kanye responds, fuck you, you fed, in all caps, and then posts that as well on Instagram with the caption, Jesus is king. Then there's another text screenshot Kanye posts from Diddy to Kanye, and Diddy says, send me an address, let's stop playing these internet games, and don't feel threatened, you'll be fine, just love. To which Kanye responds, this ain't a game, I'ma use you as an example to show the Jewish people that told you to call me that, no one can threaten or influence me, I told you this is war, now go on and get you some business. To which his new Instagram caption for this screenshot is, Jesus is a Jew. Then a screenshot of Diddy texting Kanye, I'm just trying to talk to you as a black man, and I'm talking to you because this is hurting our people, stop. Kanye responds, anything you text, I will post. I love you, and you guys are breaking my heart. I accept your apology in advance. He does promptly post this on Instagram too, with the caption, God is love, this time in all caps. So to say that they have a contentious, strange friendship, relationship is a bit of an understatement, but literally just a few months before all of this, a few months in 2022 before all of this happened, they were like best friends. Sean Combs, Diddy won the BET Lifetime Achievement Award, and Kanye is the one presenting it. He says about Diddy rather dramatically, how do we crown our kings? How do we appreciate our kings? This is my favorite artist. You see what I'm saying? Favorite artist, everything. And he broke all the rules. He broke down the doors and understood contracts in a way a lot of us don't, understood money in a way a lot of us still don't. I go for him to advice for this day. He inspired so many of my choices, so many of my life choices, my wife choices, and here we are. Thank you for that, Puff. Any of us in this room, if Puff ever need us, we need to jump up and be there.
Wild. He said, if Puff needs us, we need to jump up and be there.
Yeah, and then
nobody showed up.
No, a few months later, he crashes out, calls Sean Combs a freaking fed. But perhaps they just have a volatile relationship, which, I mean, I don't think would be different from any other relationship Sean Combs seems to have. They all seem to be rather volatile. 3 years after calling Diddy a fed, Kanye will show up to the Manhattan federal courthouse to support Diddy, and his timing is so strange. But first I need to catch you up to speed of what happens after Diddy's arrest to the point of Kanye showing up to the Manhattan courthouse, because it's strange, but it's not necessarily like the most surprising thing. Because I mean, if you just look at it, you're like, oh, he called Kanye a fed. But then when you deep dive into the lore, as much as 2024 was a bad year for both of them, 2025 was also very strange. Sean Combs is sitting in prison February of 2025. So this is 3 months until the Combs trial kicks off. Kanye states on Twitter that he's going to be selling Sean John merch and that he is going to be splitting the profits 50-50 with Sean Combs, with Diddy. And it's just like red, blue, and white shirts that read Sean John. And like most things Kanye has been doing recently, literally not a single person asked for any of this. Each shirt was going to be $30. They were up on his Yeezy website. It's not available anymore, thank God. But a bunch of netizens were just so grossed out, commenting, hello, nurse. Another one has escaped. Others are commenting, when will everyone realize that this man is not a good person? It's crazy how he does all this nasty stuff and no one says anything about it, but imagine if a woman did it, everyone would be so pissed.
Do you wonder how many people actually buy that? Like Sean John shirt in 2025?
I feel like a lot of people probably did.
That's insane.
Yeah. Some people said, actually, you got it incorrectly, and they just posted their idea of Sean John merch, which just includes orange prison jumpsuits. To which somebody clearly is using Diddy's Instagram because they reposted. So they've since deleted it, but Diddy's official Instagram page did post the collaboration, and it was captioned, "Thank you to my brother at Ye." Yeah.
Okay.
It was deleted. Kanye also went on to Twitter, to write, "I just found out that Puff is not allowed to make or collect money while he's locked up, so I'm gonna send his half of the money to Justin." Justin as in Justin Combs, his firstborn child. Justin Combs also posted the Sean John collab to his Instagram, which was now deleted. The post was. So that's February of 2025. That same month, Kanye goes on to tweet at Donald Trump, "Please free my brother Puff." So there's that. And then there's another merch drop. And this one is, okay, so remember the CNN hotel footage of Sean Combs, Diddy assaulting Cassie?
Yes.
In that video, Cassie is wearing a hoodie. It's a black hoodie with 4 M's in the back that are connected. This hoodie is actually from Kanye's album merch from 2015. So, you know, she was wearing it around that time, but it's from his album that's called So Help Me God. And according to Kanye fans, he would mainly sell this hoodie at his shows during that time. Like, you can't really buy it anytime now. And it's, if you're like a diehard Kanye fan, this is like one of the hoodies that you really foam at the mouth for. Like, you really want this hoodie. Allegedly, he even had it tattooed on himself, like the logo of the 4 M's connected, tattooed on his body at one point, though I believe it's either covered up or removed at this point. And apparently, a lot of fans really want to get their hands on this hoodie. And then 2025, Kanye tweets, "The Love hoodie is available now." And it's that hoodie from So Help Me God. But here's the weird thing. Why is he calling it the Love hoodie? And when he posts this on Twitter, he posts 2 pictures for this merch drop. One of them is of the hoodie. And the second one is a screenshot of the CNN hotel assault video where
fucking crazy.
Yeah, where Diddy is standing in a hotel, like in a towel in the hotel hallway, approaching Cassie. Cassie is bent over, grabbing her purse, and on the back of her hoodie, you can see the emblem.
Wow.
So this hoodie was originally coveted by OG fans, like I said, who knew of the album. Also, another sidebar is that album was scrapped. So it's more coveted because it's like, okay, it didn't even like fully come into fruition. It feels like a discontinued something, like it feels very niche. And a lot of people are commenting like, I wanted this for the longest time. Why the fuck did it have to come out under these circumstances? Others are saying, literally, I told my friend I wanted this a couple months back and now I can never purchase something like this because of this reason. Others are saying, I mean, I was kind of excited until I realized why he's dropping this. Why is he human scum? Then March 15th of 2025, so this is 2 months before the trial kicks off, it does indeed get worse. Kanye releases yet another song. This one is titled Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine, featuring his own daughter Northwest, but also Diddy and Diddy's son Christian Combs. Now, by the way, Northwest is just 11 years old at this point. Nothing in this song is particularly vulgar. However, it's questionable because both Diddy and Christian Combs are facing SA allegations. Combs is literally on trial for trafficking. Christian has a lawsuit, which it's unclear if it's been settled, but why bring your 11-year-old daughter into this? Also, the fact that the whole world is looking at Diddy not in a positive light, at the very least, he's a known abuser, he's violent, and he wants his daughter to be in a song with him. It doesn't make sense. Like, would it not be in a father's best interest to make sure that their child is not around the influence of these types of people? Additionally, Kanye is planning on hanging out with the Tate brothers after recording this song while he's with Northwest. It's alleged that Kim Kardashian had to pull a bunch of strings to pick up Northwest to make sure that she did not run into the Tate brothers. But also, Kanye accuses Kim of being a trafficker. So it's like all sorts of messiness, which, side note, if you're wondering how Diddy was featured on the song, it's a jail call that he had with Kanye that Kanye recorded, and it's like the intro. So remember how back then people would put voicemails into their intro? Yeah, well, he's doing that in 2025, but make it MDC Correctional Facility. And Christian Combs's verses read, money, power, respect, still the key to life. Again, against the darkness, I can see the light. Look in the mirror, have visions of sane puff about willpower. Caramel colored skin came from God. That's the real power. We ain't had our kingdom. We built ours, built different, walk different, feel different. Put the whole world against me. I'ma keep the same face. I wanted all the real love, the fake hate. The headline's gonna still say vacate the throne. Young, I'm home. Still fly like Diddy. Close your eyes. You don't want to see me fly. I can't wait to see their face when we collide. Northwest lines include doing everything I wanted. That's the key to life. Surrounded by fake friends I don't even like. When you see me shining, then you see the light. Everything they know, it ain't even right. Okay, good night. A lot of netizens, again, they don't think that the lyrics themselves are particularly vulgar, but it's just very disappointing with people writing, aligning his own daughter with his Diddy crusade is just pure, unfiltered, nasty work, genuinely just dark shit. Another one reads, removing the implications from the song itself is still barren, just rapping, robotic singing, and Combs and Kanye groaning down a phone to each other. Another one just reads, King Combs might be the worst rapper ever. Another netizen theorizes, I bet Diddy has a tape of Ye doing something horrible or unspeakable, because no way Ye is going to do a diss track on Drake for being a PDF file and then turn around and do a song with Puffy. March 17th, so a few days after, so again, 2 months before the trial, the jailhouse call between Sean Combs, Diddy, and Kanye gets leaked by the Shade Room. I mean, Kanye recorded it, but Shade Room broke it, I guess.
What's Shade on News thing?
Yeah, it's just Diddy trying to motivate Kanye. He's like, I'm going to tell you the real from the front line. It's wicked, wicked, wicked. So you be careful. We need you out there. You feel me? He's like encouraging Kanye to get back in the studio. He says, when I get out, I need to see you performing. And I'm like, sir, you're facing life. I don't know if you're going to get out, but I digress. We don't know, right?
When I get out there, I want to see you tear down the stadium. I need to see you back on that stage and actually rapping and performing and everything. I be dreaming of that shit.
Yeah, it's time. It's time for me to just grab the mic and get back on.
Now, Sean Combs tells Kanye to get back in the studio, have fun, do all of these things. And he's like, we gotta keep the frequency high, like the energy high.
And when I get out and I get that freedom, whew,
Right.
I'm not caring about nothing but motherfucking being happy. And I want you to feel that.
Yeah.
I want y'all to have that for yourselves, man.
Yeah.
He's just like motivating Kanye while Kanye is just responding like, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. That's how it's gonna be. You gonna definitely beat this shit. Yeah. Yes, sir. And that's it.
To which someone comments online, humans are amazing. The ability to uplift someone when you're clearly going through your own personal struggle is the ultimate level of humanity. Others agree, but not in the same way. They state, great message, devilish messenger. Another one writes, the amount of people in this comment section that's praising Diddy is the reason why he never got caught before now, because he's, quote, such a good guy for saying one thing motivational. Shaking my head, Jesus Christ. Another one reads, listening to Diddy about having fun is the last piece of advice I would take, respectfully. Another one just reads, we seriously do not give a f***, literally. Then almost immediately after, some netizens start saying that Kanye had put the K in KKK, which is absolutely unhinged. And I was like, what does that even mean? And then you see that he does an interview where he is wearing a custom leather black KKK robe. He also mentions he has a white version, like with the hood and everything. And before he changes into that, he was wearing a Sean John shirt.
What is going on?
He changes into the leather outfit and he tells the person interviewing him, you know, the funny thing is I really wanted to wear it yesterday, but I thought that they would put me in the hospital in this outfit. Like they would put me in the hospital for my outfit. Like he's trying to express that's crazy, that's how the world works. And I don't know, people are just trying to express it's actually not that crazy. He also goes on to say about Kim Kardashian, so this white woman and this white family have the control of these highly influential black kids that are half of the children of Ye. So he's saying it's because Kim Kardashian and her family have control over their children. that's just in everybody's face, and like they was playing in my face like that. He also alleges that powerful people were behind CNN's release of the hotel video of Sean Combs assaulting Cassie. He starts connecting it with him and Adidas having a falling out, and he says that he alleges that Adidas did everything in their power to take him down after their falling out. He's basically saying that the people who run these massive corporations, it's like a different level of power, and like it's a different level of games. And some people actually do believe in this conspiracy. Sean Combs, Diddy, sued massive alcohol brand. This is like a huge company. I mean, you think Diddy's rich? He's not rich compared to this company. They own a lot of the major alcohol brands. It's called Diageo. That's the brand. They own Ciroc. They own De Leon tequila with Diddy. I think they bought George Clooney's tequila brand. They own, I think, Johnny Walker. I mean, they've got their hands all over the alcohol industry. He sues them for racism, and they settle. He gets a huge payday, like $200 million. Diddy does. And it seems like a lot of people are saying that Diageo didn't like that because they paid Diddy like nearly $1 billion throughout their Ciroc partnership. And for him to turn around and accuse them of racism, whether it be true or not, I guess to them, it pissed them off, is what is being alleged. And so it seems like the allegation is maybe they had connections with the feds and were like, maybe you should look into this guy. Maybe they had connections with the CNN release of the hotel footage. These are like crazy conspiracies, but it still doesn't negate the fact that there is a hotel footage of him assaulting Cassie. Like, it doesn't really matter who released it, I think. I mean, the fact that that video happened, it doesn't matter. It's how it's released. He still decided to assault Cassie.
Yeah.
Kanye alleges they pulled out a video with him and Cassie from 10 years ago, and then it made everyone be like, oh, well, Puff's a woman beater, so he's the devil. He needs to be in jail, right? And I'm like, right. But he continues, and he says, meanwhile, I don't know somebody who hasn't gotten into an altercation with their girl at one point.
He just rat himself out? Like,
he starts ratting out other people too. He says, so you got these three. Watch this. You got Cardi, Playboy Cardi, I think he's saying, Puffy, Kendrick. He's insinuating that all three of them are, quote, woman beaters. I don't know. I'm not like deep into Playboy Cardi or Kendrick's lore. I don't think that, I imagine if there was proof I would know about it. Like, everyone would be talking about it, right? So I don't know. But he says they're women beaters. And then he says, then you got the two pedophiles, Drake and R. Kelly. So Puffy and R. Kelly are in jail. This is what Kanye's saying. With Drake, 5 years from now or however long, when they feel like they really want to get that boy up and out of here, they're going to play the Kendrick song. So he's alleging that in like 5 years or so, whenever the executives of these massive companies are over these people, they're just going to release information and get them in trouble. He continues, so that's how far they're going. The Kendrick mix with Universal, all that takedown of Drake reminds me of the No Diddy campaign for Diddy. They go in all out. Yeah. Then immediately a month after, just 1 month before the trial for Sean Combs kicks off, Kanye releases another song. I mean, unrelated, I hope, but it's titled Cousins. He posted on X and he says, this song is called Cousins, about my cousin that's locked up in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him that we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6, and then we acted out what we saw. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. My name is Ye, and I sucked my cousin's dick until I was 14.
what?
The song itself is as bad as you can imagine. The lyrics read, hanging with my cousin, reading dirty magazines, we seen two kissing, we ain't know what that means. Then we start reenacting everything we had seen. That's when I gave my cousin head. To which one top netizen comment just reads, what a horrible day to know how to read. Another one reads, all right, so I hate having a phone now. Then right at the start of Diddy's trial, same month, May of 2025, so last month, Kanye, he doesn't really release it. The album is leaked on Discord. This is allegedly Kanye's newest album that he's been working on. A few notable titles for tracks read Diddy Free, Cosby, Free My Kids, and then, a ton of super heinous titles unrelated to this case. But the title of the album is called Cuck.
Wow.
And apparently he was going to spell it C-U-K-K-K. He has since taken to Twitter to say that he may change the album name to A Perfect World, which is also still weird. But what does that have to do with him showing up to support Diddy during his trial? And the timing of him coming to the courthouse is all very strange. So Friday, this is the day after. Thursday is the day where everyone is like, what's going on in the robing room? Diddy's freaking out. He looks mad. They have that little huddle. Everyone's like, maybe something happened. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. Maybe Kanye's coming to the courthouse. Guess what? Kanye doesn't come to the courthouse on Thursday. At least not that we see.
But
Friday,
the whisper started the day before. Wow.
Yes. Now, Friday is the day after. Now, Thursday is also interesting because that was the last day that Jane was on the stand. So Thursday is all Jane, and that's when the rumors are happening, and then Jane leaves. Friday, she's no longer here. It's going to be, quote, a slower day in court, which I know it sounds strange, but you can actually feel the energy shift on slower days. Like, it's just different because you don't have a lot of emotional testimonies. Like, you'll have Homeland Security agents come in. So obviously the case is still very serious, but it's not going to be as emotionally traumatizing to listen to the testimonies. Now, a Homeland Security agent comes in, and he is one of the members who raided Sean Combs' Miami mansion. Before he comes into the courtroom, however, before the jurors are seated, before the judge is on the bench, the prosecution team wheeled in a shopping cart with these like long cardboard boxes. They're similar to like the plank of wood. Inside are guns, assault-style rifles found in Combs' mansion with the serial numbers scratched off, which, by the way, that alone is a federal crime to have any firearms with defaced serial numbers, but that's not the point that Mark Agnifilo cares about. He's upset because, well, first of all, they're bringing the freaking guns in, okay? They're gonna take the guns out, they're gonna show the jurors the guns, they're gonna hold the guns up, put a whole show on with these assault-style rifles in the courtroom. I mean, they're zip-tied, of course, so that you can't accidentally pull the trigger. Not that anyone would, but just in case. So he's gonna whip out these jet matte black rifles, and he's gonna hold it up for the jurors to see. And aside from that, Special Agent Lamone is going through photo after photo with the jurors to show just like the sheer amount of baby oil and Astroglide that was found in the house. I mean, it's just so much Astroglide, so much. There's pallets of Astroglide, there's baby oil. Like, you know how people display expensive bottles of alcohol? But that's how Sean Combs would just display his baby oil, just Johnson & Johnson baby oil, like a high-end retail store. They're spaced out like something you would see in like the MoMA Museum. Special Agent Lamone says, yeah, we found about 900 or so bottles of Astroglide that was seized by Homeland Security. Mark Agnifilo is riled up doing the cross-examination. Honestly, I don't know why he's so riled up. Okay, this is weird. Everyone noticed that Mark Agnifilo seems so on edge for no reason, because this agent is not really saying anything particularly shocking.
Yeah.
It just seemed like he was riled up about something else. That just made it more plausible, because even the special agent is looking at Mark Agnifilo smiling like, are you good? Because I'm sure this special agent testifies a lot. Because when you're involved in any sort of raid and it goes to trial, someone's going to get subpoenaed. You kind of know the drill. And it's like, bro, why are you freaking out? I don't even know the case like that. Like, I was just at the raid. Mark Agnifilo is jumping up and down trying to do the cross-examination. And you said you're with the Human Trafficking and Smuggling Unit? What is that? It's a group. Okay, and in your 60 or so search warrant executions as part of the Human Trafficking and Smuggling Investigation Group, how many times have you recovered Astroglide? One? Other than this day? No, this is the only time. The only time, right? How about baby oil? Tell the jury all the human trafficking and smuggling investigation search warrants that you conducted when you walked out with boxes of baby oil. So this is the only one. That's what I thought. The judge tells Mark Agnifilo no comments during his cross, please. Like, you can only ask questions. You shouldn't be commenting. That's what I thought. But that's not why Mark Agnifilo says he's riled up, okay? He says he's not losing his mind over Astroglide. The main issue, he says, is that Homeland Security is not the FBI. So here's a discrepancy. Homeland Security when the FBI, they raid a place, it's typically more protocol for them to take pictures of evidence and detailed pictures of where they find said evidence. So like it's more likely that they will have evidence markers and they log each picture and they log each thing. Homeland Security, when they go and raid a place, they only have two purposes for the raid because they're Homeland Security. One, make sure there's anybody inside and make sure that they're secure and okay. And two, make sure that all weapons are secured because it's Homeland Security. They're not here logging every detail. And Mark Agnifilo tells the judge, this is when the witness and the jury are not present, I want to know exactly where the guns were. I don't want to start playing Russian roulette with guns, which is why you play Russian roulette, but I don't want to do that. It's risky and unnecessary. So he's like making jokes, but he's riled up. I want a lot better than that. I want to know where the guns were when the agents came, because none of the agents know where they found the guns. Because he's saying it could have been in the gun safe in the security room, which it doesn't really matter where the guns were because you still deface the serial numbers, which is like such a federal crime. It's not about where the guns were. That's the problem. It's the fact that they had defaced serial numbers. But I digress. Mark Agnifilo is like losing his marbles. These are guns. This is not like, if they don't know where they got the baby oil, that's fine. If they don't know where they got the Astroglide, that's fine. I'm not objecting to that. I don't know where they got the Astroglide. Fine, great. Where was it when you saw the Astroglide? No, you don't know? No problem. But the guns? He's like, how do you not know where the guns were?
What point is he trying to make? Why is he arguing that? Just trying to argue anything?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's trying to put it on Combs' security team. Yeah, he's trying to be like, can we just know where we got the guns so we can be like, Sean Combs didn't know that they had defaced serial numbers.
I see.
That's kind of the vibe it's giving, but is that really what Mark Agnifilo is upset about? People in the pews do not think so because all morning, weird stuff has been happening. Lots of up and downs, like all morning. And I thought this was so strange, okay? There was lots of passing of notes that I was like, illegal. Okay, not illegal, but I was like, this is weird. Summer is here, which means more sun, more light. And the number one thing that you do not want to be doing all summer is spending hours cooking inside. That is where Factor comes in. Factor's chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. With nutritious breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts, Factor powers your day sun up to sundown. This trial has been keeping everyone on the team incredibly busy. Honestly, there would be no way that we would even survive this trial if we didn't have Factor. Fast food gets unappetizing fast, and takeout in New York City is like a whole different beast. It's so expensive. But Factor allows us to eat delicious food ready in minutes without the takeout price and no sacrifices to our health. It feels like we're just cooking at home. Get started at factormeals.com/rotten50off and use code rotten50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code rotten50off at factormeals.com/rotten50off for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/rotten50off. So at one point, Sean Combs keeps writing notes to attorney Xavier Donaldson, who's sitting in front of him. And he's like physically getting up, passing notes, just like in the middle of testimonies, in the middle of like morning sessions of everything, just like getting up, passing a note to Donaldson. Donaldson will pass a note back. And then at one point, Sean Combs turns around and there's a U.S. Marshal sitting right behind him. He passes something or like says something to a U.S. Marshal. That U.S. Marshal nods, gets up, leaves the courtroom. And then I look, and almost instantly after, Diddy's best friend gets up and leaves the courtroom. So we're all like, that is weird. And we thought it was very sus until later we find out it's not that sus, okay? They come back in later. And then in the middle of the testimony, Brian Steele and Xavier Donaldson are getting up. They're leaving the courtroom. And then at one point, Brian Steele and Nicole Westmoreland and Donaldson are getting up and leaving the courtroom. And then at one point, they're calling Christian Combs, Quincy, like the sons are getting it. It's just what is happening at this point. Like, it's so much activity happening on this side of the courtroom, and the press pews are just like, what is going on? Because clearly something's going on. Like, the energy is weird.
So this is in the middle of the
testimony.
Okay.
Like Mark Agnifalo's riled up, like, we don't care about the Astroglide. Where'd you get the guns? And then like everybody's in and out of the courtroom and you're just like, what's happening? Why is Mark Agnifalo so pent up about something?
Yeah.
And then all these attorneys are moving weirdly, like they've never done this before. And that is when we get the news. It's like, I don't know who, but the person next to me, a senior reporter, literally turns to me and goes, hey, either you or your researcher, go down to the overflow room. And I said, what? And he's like, Kanye's here. And so we're like, what the? Okay, so my researcher decides, I'm like, you gotta go, because one of us has to stay in the main courtroom. You gotta go and catch Kanye and see what's going on. Half the press pews get up, and as quietly as possible, they leave the courtroom and make a run for the elevator. My researcher was telling me, no, it was crazy. Like everyone's just like pressing the elevator, and she's like, you know what? Let me just take the stairs. So, okay, there are overflow rooms, and it's another courtroom, but instead of people in the front, you just have TVs. And you're watching the cameras, the live feed of the actual main courtroom. And you sit in the pews. And so they're like, we got to go to the overflow rooms. And we don't know why Kanye is going to be in the overflow room, but I'm going to explain later. So they're saying it's going to be an overflow room 24A. That's what all the members of the press were told. I don't know who told everybody this, but everyone was under the impression 24A. So we're on the 26th floor. Everybody's running to 24A. My researcher is like, we're booking it. They get to 24A, packed.
Wow.
Packed with people.
Wow.
Packed with press pews. Court employees are there, like people that work in the courthouse that have nothing to do with the Sean Combs case. At least I don't know if they do have anything to do with the Sean Combs case, but she was saying like it was packed. So everyone's trying to play it chill so that none of the court officers get upset with them. And they're sitting in the overflow room 24A and they're like, 5 minutes passed, 10 minutes passed, and she's like, no, something's not right. And then so she leaves, books it down to 23A. There's like a secondary overflow room that's not open a lot of the time, is what she was saying. Like the other press members were explaining. These days, as the trial is wrapping up, not a lot of people are coming, so they really only need like one overflow room.
Okay.
So it seems like not a lot of people are in 23A. But apparently, right when she gets there, Kanye had just left. So they had ushered Kanye to 23A instead of 24A, which was where most of the press was waiting for Kanye. A few members of the press were already in 23A, or some of them had seen him go in and assumed he was going into 23A. I don't know where they got that intel. So there were a few that saw Kanye in 23A, but my researcher said that she's talking to the members of the press that saw Kanye, and they said he apparently walked into the overflow room, walked up to the TV monitor that shows what's going on in the courtroom, and at this point, it's no longer the Homeland Security agent that's testifying. It's Jonathan Perez, which is a former employee of Sean Combs, a personal assistant. He walks up, stares at it intently for a brief moment. He's there with Christian Combs and a bodyguard. They look at the screen, and then he just like leaves. So there's that. And it does seem like everyone was misled and taken to 24A on purpose, is the vibe that my researcher got, because while they were sitting there, the door opens, Donaldson and Westmoreland walk in, and they just like look, and then they leave. So it just felt like everyone was, the attention was diverted.
So, okay, a few questions. One, why did Kanye leave so quickly? Like, why did he show up 2 seconds, leave?
Yeah, okay, we're gonna get into all of those conspiracies.
Okay.
But online reports say that he was in the courthouse for about 30 minutes. I will say that he was probably in the overflow room we spoke to the members of the press that were in that room, and they said he was in there for like 2 minutes. So much of the time that he was in the actual courthouse was probably going through security. And then it said that he was talking to Christian Combs and Combs' best friend. He's there every day. Sometimes he falls asleep. You remember that best friend? Charlucci. They were talking. Yeah, Charlucci. So they were talking in like the hallways, and then eventually they made their way to the overflow room, and then he was like, I gotta go. And his timing is interesting to everyone because most of Combs' family and friends' pews, it was the most packed during the beginning of the trial. Opening statements, Cassie's testimony, everybody's packed in there like sardines. If there was any moment in time to support Diddy, it was at that point. But he is coming after Jane's testimony, after one of the last major witnesses gets off the stand. And it's interesting because he comes on Friday. Jane's last day testifying was on Thursday. And Thursday was when all the rumors came about that Kanye's coming to the courthouse, right? Thursday, Jane also talks about Kanye in her testimony.
What do you mean?
Allegedly, okay? Now, yeah. Thursday, Tenny Garagos is questioning Jane Doe for the last time. Very last day. And to give you some context, Jane Doe had been testifying for the past few days that from November of 2023, which is when Cassie's lawsuit dropped, to February of 2024, she and Sean Combs were on a break. They were broken up. So on January of 2024, she ends up going on a trip to Las Vegas with her friend. Tenny asks her, so you went to Las Vegas with your friend on a very successful rapper's private plane, right? Yes. It was for that rapper's girlfriend's birthday? Yes. Okay, and that rapper, fair to say, is a rapper who is very close to Mr. Combs. Yes. Jane testifies that while on this trip, she runs into an entertainer that Diddy would frequently call to have hotel nights with her. His name is Anton. Did you know prior that Anton had a relationship of some sort with this rapper and his girlfriend or wife? He had briefly mentioned it in the past, yes. And he would travel with them? Yes. And so you understood that Anton would be around them sometimes, right? Yes. Did you know if Mr. Combs knew that? Yes. So she says that she goes to Las Vegas with her friend on this rapper's private plane. They go to dinner for the unnamed rapper's wife's birthday. Anton is there.
Who invited her?
Her friend. Jane's friend.
Oh.
Now, Jane is a little bit surprised to see Anton there, but nevertheless, they hug, they're cordial, and after dinner, Tenny is like, okay, so at what point after dinner, like, what did you guys do? And Jane says, well, we went to a play, then we went to dinner, and then we went to a strip club, and then we went back to the hotel room. You remember walking into the hotel room, and then Anton was having sex with a woman, and everybody was watching, right? Yes. How many people were in the room? I would say maybe 7 or 8 people total. Where was the hotel? What hotel was this? I want to say it was like the Encore in Vegas. Were Anton and that woman on the bed, or what area of the room were they in? Yes, they were on the bed. And everybody was just watching them? Were they talking? Was there music playing? What was going on? Just watching. Jane states that she and the other rapper, allegedly Kanye, were flirting a little bit.
Jane was flirting with Kanye?
The unnamed rapper. So the reason that everybody is putting 2 and 2 together is because, well, first of all, Bianca Censori is Kanye's wife. And Bianca Censori's birthday is in January. And January of 2024, they were in Las Vegas celebrating her birthday. And they were staying at the Wynn Hotel, which is right next to the Encore. It's owned by the same company. Yeah. I mean, like, it's pretty clear to many netizens. They believe it's like, there's no other, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they try to run a bunch of different rappers through, and they're like, it really only works with Kanye.
Okay.
Like, nobody else fits all of these criteria for this testimony. Now, Jane states that she and the other rapper, allegedly Kanye, are flirting a little bit, and there was flirtatious banter where Jane flashed her breasts towards the rapper, allegedly Kanye, and others in the room. Who asked you to flash your breasts to the room? I think just in the moment, just we were all hanging out, and I don't know, in the moment. Okay, what did the rapper say to you when you guys were flirting? I think he said something along the lines of that he always thought I was beautiful, and he always wanted to blank me. Okay, the rapper basically told you in the moment that he always had a crush on you. Yes. Okay, and do you remember when you were in Las Vegas and you were in that hotel room with that rapper and Anton and other people who were there, that you also, do you remember if you brought Cabral up as well? So Cabral is another entertainer. And Tenny is like, Jane, did you bring up Cabral? Did you talk about Cabral in this hotel room? And Jane's like, yes. How did you bring him up? They were asking me if I knew anybody else in the lifestyle and that they were looking for someone. And so I reached out to Cabral because, you know, at the time, if I were to recommend somebody, I would recommend somebody that I've kind of known for a while. Now, Jane testifies all of this on the stand on Thursday, the same day that there are rumors that Kanye is in New York City and is trying to get into the Diddy courtroom, the same day that Jane is finishing her testimony regarding this unnamed rapper. So for whatever reason, perhaps Kanye wasn't there that day in the courtroom. It's just a rumor. Perhaps prosecutors refused to let him in the building because it could be considered intimidating a witness if he is truly the unnamed rapper. Or perhaps he himself decided not to come in. We don't know. Kanye West ultimately is a no-show on Thursday, but he ends up coming on Friday for like 2 seconds. So that doesn't explain still the question of, wait, why did he come? And also, why is he in the overflow room? And also, what is the defense doing right now? Because after all this happened, Mark Agnifilo tells the judge that he wants this unnamed rapper to be named. He says, so the event that we're talking about in January of 2024 took place behind closed doors in a hotel room, but there were many people. There were other people there. One of the concerns that we have, and this is a concern of constitutional dimension, we believe is part of the reason a trial is, I sound like I'm being rhetorical, but I'm making this point for a reason. Part of the reason that trials are fully public is so if other people realize they know something about an event that's discussed in a public courtroom, they could come forward and they could share whatever their recollection is about it. Now, that typically doesn't happen, but it does happen from time to time. And I know that was one of our objections when we objected to the witness who went under the name Mia, that there's going to be other people who might have information about this. And it's the same with the event in the hotel room. And I think it's kind of the practical side of the constitutional right to the public trial, that it's public for a reason and the facts are public for a reason and the names are public. He's basically saying, name the unnamed rapper.
Why is that good for them to do that?
We don't know for sure. The speculation amongst a lot of people was that it would not probably shed the best light onto Jane. It might make her appear like she is chasing celebrities and chasing a specific lifestyle. And then the second thing is it could be almost insinuated, well, this is just Hollywood. And when you're in Hollywood, this is just how people do it. And you know what you're getting into when you date people in Hollywood.
I see.
Because, Kanye is a huge name in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
So it would maybe make that point. Now, the judge asks Prosecutor Comey if she has anything to add, to which she responds, as long as your Honor's ruling remains no, otherwise I would want to respond. But I don't think there's a reason to change your Honor's ruling. The suggestion that they need to say these names in order to get some sort of information from the public appears to be nothing more than a pretense and attempt to harass and intimidate this witness. With that, the judge agrees with Comey, and the unnamed rapper will be unnamed, at least in the courtroom, because online, he has been named up and down. Allegedly, it's Kanye. But it's still very intriguing that Mark wants this unnamed rapper to be named. Now, we kind of have the theories of some of that, but why is he there, and why wasn't he allowed in the main courtroom, and why did he only stay for 2 seconds?
He wasn't allowed in the main courtroom?
Okay, this is the weird part. Diddy has a friends and family list. Now, it does have to get approved. So you can't just put anybody on there. But it does have to get approved. But once you're approved, you can kind of come and go out of that courtroom as you please, as long as your name is on the list. So it's not like, oh, you have to show up in the morning at a certain time. These people are not public and press. We got to show up at a certain time in the morning to get in. But with his friends and family, his sons come late every single day.
Ah, that makes sense.
Right? So it's why was Kanye not on the friends and family list? Some say maybe they try to get him on the list, but the prosecutors wouldn't allow it. Now, I don't know if I believe this theory because Charlucci, this is Sean Combs' best friend who's in the courthouse every single day. He was talking to a reporter outside and he's asked, was Kanye on the list? And he was like, yeah, he was, sort of. And it's just what does that even mean? How are you sort of on a list? You're either on the list or you're not on the list, right? And I imagine if the prosecutors do not allow him on the list, people would be talking about it. Diddy's camp would have it out there. They would be talking to, I don't know, probably Fresh and Fit. And then he'd probably yap about it and be like, okay, yeah. The prosecutors are being mean and they're saying, oh, your friend's a celebrity? Your friend can't support you? I think we would know if the prosecutors didn't allow Kanye West to be on the list or if the judge didn't allow it. I feel like that's something that they would want out there to be like, hey, world, Diddy's sad because his friends can't come support him. They're not letting anybody support him. They're suppressing this. It would be a thing. What a lot of people think is that Diddy's defense team will not put him on the list. Because Kanye West, it doesn't matter who on this planet you talk to, most people know Kanye West. And most people know that he's so crazy anti-Semitic. And there seems to be a few Jewish members of the jury. And And so to have him in the friends and family pew would probably be heinous.
That makes sense. Okay, I see.
And it gives me, and then I was watching the video of Christian Combs like coming in and dapping up Kanye outside the courthouse. It was giving, and then the way that they're like going in and out of the courtroom, the main courtroom, it kind of gives me damage control. It's like, send Christian out there, send Donaldson out there, send Carlucci out there, calm Kanye down and say, they're not letting you in the courtroom. Thank you for showing up. Like, we love you for showing up. But also, like, don't let him in the courtroom. But don't let him know that we don't want him in the courtroom.
Allegedly.
That was the vibe it gave me. But what do I know? I don't know anything. I don't know these people. I'm just sitting there observing. What do I know? So that's why he's only in there for 2 seconds and why he was in the overflow room. He, again, did not have to go. Like, there was no logistical reason that made sense. So we don't know if maybe someone barred the defense and Diddy from putting him on the friends and family list, or Diddy and the friends and family, like, they don't want him on the list. That part is unclear, but if he is on that list, there's no reason he can't come into the main courtroom. Like, he does not have to go through those lines outside like we do. That doesn't answer why he's there, though. So the first theory that netizens have is he's there for the presidential pardon. Kanye had tweeted at Donald Trump asking him to free Puff. Kanye's like, tweeting to Trump. And Kanye did seem to have some sort of relationship during Trump's first presidency. Maybe Kanye's showing up to get this more on Trump's radar, but Trump already knows about it. He already made a statement about it. But maybe they're thinking if Trump sees a headline and he's like, oh, okay, major celebrities are still backing this guy, so maybe I'll pardon him. I don't know. The thread there is a little bit loose, but Kanye has always been a huge supporter of Trump. June 1st of this year, he tweeted, anybody who don't love Trump, you're dumb. So Kanye loves Trump almost as much as he loves himself. His support of Trump is nothing particularly new, but Kanye broke headlines originally when he first debuted his own MAGA hat. That was like in 2016. Now, Donald Trump has been asked about pardoning Diddy, and he says,
first of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up. From what I read, I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. It's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So it's not a popularity contest. So I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Netizens are commenting, this is all part of the pardon plan. This is all part of the plan, because this wouldn't be the first time that Kanye advocates for a presidential pardon. Enter a man named Larry Hoover. Larry Hoover is a notorious figure in American criminal history. He's best known as the founder of the Gangster Disciples, a powerful Chicago street gang. So in the 70s, Hoover is convicted of orchestrating the murder of a rival drug dealer. He receives a 200-year state sentence in Illinois. Despite being incarcerated, authorities say he's continued to lead the gang, which expanded into a nationwide criminal organization. In the 90s, although he's already in prison, the feds drag him back to court, convict him on federal charges, conspiracy, extortion, drug trafficking. Ultimately resulting in a 6 consecutive federal life sentence. Kanye has been one of Hoover's biggest supporters, even throwing the Free Hoover benefit concert where Kanye and Drake headlined in 2021. He sold Free Hoover merch, included and referenced Hoover's story in some of his song lyrics, and then even went to the Oval Office with Hoover's son, had a meeting with Trump all the way back in 2018, and then last month, May 28th of 2025, this is like while Diddy's trial is happening, Trump announces that he would be pardoning Larry Hoover.
Wow.
Not wow, because Hoover still has his state sentence. So presidents can only pardon federal sentences. So Hoover's still in prison for the next 200 years. He still has a 200-year sentence, but the 6 consecutive federal life sentences have been pardoned.
What is all that about?
Exactly. We don't know, but I guess the pardon worked, question mark. Now, to be fair, Diddy doesn't have any state charges. He has federal charges. So technically, he would be free if he's pardoned. But it doesn't make... I don't think that Trump is going to pardon Diddy for a multitude of different reasons. It does seem like the Trumps are heavily aligned with Israel, and Kanye is not really someone who seems to be aligned with Israel, clearly with everything that's been going on. And it does not appear that Kanye is anywhere on Trump's favorite list of morally corrupt and questionable people. And then on top of that, Diddy's attorneys actually, Mark Agnifilo and Karen Agnifilo, have a very close ties with a huge media network called Midas Touch. Midas Touch are very left-leaning. They're like very anti-Trump. Actually, Trump is like trying to get them banned, I think, at one point. So it's a very contentious, relationship. So I don't know. It just seems like the waters are very dirty. And Diddy has said very intense things about Trump as well. So I just don't know how feasible a pardon is. But also, I don't know, because the state of the politics and the world that we are in right now, like everything that you think is never going to happen happens. And then you're like, oh, okay, so we're all screwed. So we don't know. That's just being logical, but nothing's logical these days, right? So in comes the next theory, which a lot of people think that Kanye is next on the Fed's radar, which then why would he come to the federal courthouse to support Diddy? Maybe he thinks that him showing up will make it easier for Diddy to get a non-guilty verdict. People think that if Diddy gets a guilty verdict, the feds are coming after Kanye next. This is just a conspiracy at this point, but it seems like there's a lot of overlaps in the type of things that they were into. It seems like, with the lawsuits that are happening against Kanye, seems like a similar trajectory. Perhaps people are even alleging that as the feds were investigating Diddy, they found lots of stuff about Kanye in the process, and maybe there's an investigation in the works there. So then why would he come to the federal courthouse? A, he either thinks that him showing up is going to result in a not guilty verdict because more people are going to support Diddy. I don't know how plausible that plan is. And then B, maybe it goes to like an insanity plea. Maybe he just like shows up, does crazy things nonstop so that later he can plead insanity. But that again also seems just like highly orchestrated, not the most feasible. But almost instantly after, he did fly to Spain and checked himself in to, I'm not sure if I would call it like a facility. I guess I would call it a facility. I don't really know how to categorize it. It's $100,000 a week.
A week?
A week. And you go there and you get like your own personal butler and you get like your own bowling alley.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, but apparently it's like a high-end mental institution, but like voluntary and also worth a house a week. Maybe that can confirm like he's just doing crazy stuff because he thinks the feds are onto him, so he's going to be as crazy as possible so that he could plead insanity later. I don't know. And then the last theory is that Kanye is just Kanye. He just likes to be a contrarian. He likes to do what nobody else is doing, and he likes to do stuff that makes everyone, I don't know, hate him. What do you guys think? I mean, those are the main theories that are circulating, and we were watching Kanye's whereabouts recently because we thought maybe he would show up. Defense has, by the time that you're watching this is going to be our last Diddy episode for this trial. Who knows if there's going to be a mistrial? Who knows if there's going to be a second trial? We don't know. But this is going to be our last episode until the verdict. The defense has officially rested their case. They called in 0 witnesses.
Which is
insane. So in the beginning of this trial, they're saying like, we're going to bring in all these different people. They were fighting to get this one doctor in because remember the prosecutors had brought in a doctor. So they're like, we're also going to bring in a doctor.
What kind of doctor they want to bring in?
I think he focused on a lot of like drugs. So he would testify about the effect that certain drugs would have maybe on someone's temper or volatility. That was the vibe that people were getting. So they fought hard to get this doctor to be able to testify. Judge was like, okay, yeah, each side is going to bring in a doctor. They had this huge long list of witnesses that the prosecutors were like, are you sure we're going to finish by the 4th of July? Because that's not feasible. Then they were saying, oh, it's going to take us like maybe 4 weeks. Then they said, okay, maybe it's going to take us a week or two. And then recently they said, you know, it's going to take us a few days. We have a few witnesses we're going to bring in, starting with Vashta, like the head of HR.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, oh my God, the head of HR, right?
Yes.
They didn't bring a single person in. They didn't bring the doctor. They didn't bring Vashta. They literally brought nobody in. They rested their case in half a day. So a lot of people are saying, do they rest their case in half a day because they're so confident? Because the prosecutors have nothing. So they're like, you got nothing. I don't have to do anything. I would disagree. I think just mentally speaking, when you're facing life in prison, you can't ever be that confident. Because if you're like, you know what, their case already sucks, and we just bring in like a week of one full week of witnesses, we bolster our case even more. Let's bring it home. We already think the jury is not going to find you guilty. Let's bring it home. Let's just make extra sure. Like, you would think that's how you handle it, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like the risk of the prosecutors cross-examining any witness probably wouldn't do Sean Combs any good. It seems like maybe they're going to stick to either hoping, praying for a mistrial, which doesn't mean he's free. He would just have to do another trial, or hoping, I don't know, for an appeal. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense that they would be that confident for a not guilty verdict to the point of not bringing in a single witness. Like, that level of confidence, when you're dealing with the feds and the conviction rate that they have, I just don't foresee how that is the train of thought.
Yeah, it's so interesting why they do that.
It doesn't make sense. Because people were even thinking that Kanye was going to testify for Diddy. And again, that didn't make sense for a lot of people, because it was like, we don't even think he's allowed in the courtroom because he's so controversial. But what do you guys think? We checked. Kanye is back in LA. He did fly from Spain back to New York. They were spotted in Brooklyn, where Bianca Censori, his wife, was wearing just like candy lingerie. And she was just like walking around in candy lingerie. So we thought maybe he was going to come for the defense closing, or not the closing, for the defense case in chief. But now we're just headed into closing statements and jury deliberations. And that's it. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think Kanye's next? Is that why he's not let in the courtroom and no one can say anything? Is he the unnamed rapper?
Or what do you guys think about just the whole trial so far? Like,
and the fact that
do we think he's going to get
and the fact that they're arresting their case in like half a day? What are your thoughts on that? Because people were like, what's happening? This is like abnormally. And just to give you an idea, a lot of people are saying, oh my God, he's OJ Simpson. This is going to be an OJ Simpson dream team. He's going to get away, not guilty verdicts, right? Because the jurors are going to love him. It's going to be the next OJ Simpson of our generation. Now, I will say, I don't know how accurate that is, considering OJ Simpson's trial was held not in the federal court. Like, the feds in the state, they operate differently. Like, the feds, you don't want to get in their crosshairs. On top of that, I looked into it. OJ Simpson's defense case in chief lasted 39 court days. 39 days. So after the prosecutors, OJ Simpson's attorneys were up there for 39 days.
And Diddy's half a day.
Yeah. Half a day is very generous. His defense case in chief lasted like an hour. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. And be safe. I'll see you in the next episode.